They didn't say we're locking you in. They said you'll be safe here. My own son kissed my cheek, took my keys, my phone, my dignity, and walked out without looking back. I stood in that lobby at 76 years old, watching the automatic doors close behind him. That was the moment I died, or at least that's what they expected. What Michael didn't know was that his dead father had left me something in my coat pocket, something worth $62 million. Before I tell you how I fought back, I want to ask you something. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever been treated like you don't matter anymore, stay with me until the end. Subscribe to this channel and follow my story, and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far my story travels. Now let me take you back to the beginning. The thing about betrayal is it never wears the right name. It comes dressed in love, concern, and best interests. It holds your hand while it stabs your back. I was making coffee when it started. Tuesday morning, 7:15. The kitchen still smelled like the banana bread I'd baked the night before, Patrick's favorite recipe. He'd been gone 3 years, but I still made it sometimes. Habit, I suppose, or maybe just missing him. The doorbell rang. Michael stood on my porch with Karen beside him. My daughter-in-law wore that tight smile she always wore when she wanted something. Michael had his hands in his pockets, looking everywhere except at me. "Mom, we need to talk." I let them in, made more coffee, sat at the kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped Michael with his homework 40 years ago, the same table where Patrick proposed to me in 1969. "What's this about?" Karen cleared her throat. "We've been worried about you, Margaret. She never called me Mom. Never once in 23 years of marriage to my son. Worried about what Michael finally looked at me. The stove incident, Mom. Last month. You left the burner on. I left it on for 10 minutes while I answered the phone. It happens." "And the appointment," Karen added. "You missed Dr. Patterson's appointment twice. I rescheduled. I told them I rescheduled." Michael leaned forward. "Mom, we talked to the doctor. He thinks maybe you need more support." "Support? I've lived alone for 3 years. I managed just fine." Karen pulled out a folder. I didn't like that folder. It was thick, official looking with tabs and sticky notes. "We found a place," she said. "Maple Grove Senior Living. It's beautiful. They have activities, meals, medical staff on site." My hands went cold around my coffee cup. "You want to put me in a home?" Michael shook his head. "Not a home, Mom. A community. It's temporary, just until we make sure you're okay." "I'm okay now." Karen slid a brochure across the table. Smiling old people on the cover sitting in a garden that looked too perfect to be real. "The thing is, Margaret, we've already made arrangements." I stared at her. "Already made arrangements." Without asking me, Michael reached for my hand. "Mom, please. We're doing this because we love you." That word, love. It felt like a slap. I looked at my son, really looked at him, and I saw something I'd never seen before. I saw his father's face, but none of his father's heart. Patrick would never have done this. Patrick would have fought anyone who tried. When I asked, "Today," Karen said, "we'll take you this afternoon, get you settled. Today I haven't packed." "I haven't. We packed for you." Karen's smile widened. "Last week when you were at the senior center, we wanted it to be a surprise. A surprise. They broke into my home and packed my things and called it a surprise. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. "I'm not going anywhere." Michael stood too. "Mom, please don't make this harder than it has to be." "Harder for who?" "For you." Karen's voice went sharp. "Margaret, we have power of attorney. Your husband gave Michael that authority before he passed." My heart stopped. Patrick's power of attorney. The document we signed when he was sick, when he was dying, when neither of us imagined it would ever be used against me. "That was for emergencies," I said. "Medical emergencies. Not this." Michael's jaw tightened. "Mom, the lawyer says it covers living arrangements too. If we determine you can't care for yourself." "I can care for myself," the stove Karen repeated. "The missed appointments, the time you got confused at the grocery store. I wasn't confused. I was looking for the brand Patrick used to buy." They moved it to a different aisle. But my voice was shaking now. I could hear it. They could hear it too. Michael put his hand on my shoulder. Mom, just try it. 2 weeks. If you hate it, we'll bring you home. He was lying. I knew he was lying. You don't pack someone's entire closet for a 2-week trial. What about my house? I asked. Karen's eyes flickered. Something passed between her and Michael. We'll take care of it, she said. Don't worry about anything. I looked around my kitchen. The curtains I'd sewn in 1982, the bird feeder outside the window that Patrick built, the scratch on the doorframe where Michael carved his initials when he was 7. Can I at least say goodbye? Karen checked her watch. We need to be there by 2 for intake. Intake. Like I was being processed. Like I was a number, not a person. I walked through my house one last time, touched the walls, the door frames, the photos on the mantel. Patrick at our wedding, Michael's graduation, Emma's first birthday, her face covered in chocolate cake. In the bedroom, I opened my closet, almost empty. They'd taken everything except a few old coats I never wore anymore. I reached for my winter coat, the heavy wool one Patrick bought me for our 40th anniversary, the one with the pocket that never zipped right. I'd worn it the day of his funeral. Hadn't touched it since. I put it on even though it was September and still warm outside. Michael appeared in the doorway. Ready, Mom? No. But it didn't matter. The drive to Maple Grove took 40 minutes. I sat in the back seat of Michael's car like a child being driven to school. Karen typed on her phone the whole way. Michael kept looking at me in the rearview mirror. You'll like it, Mom. They have a library, book clubs, a garden. I didn't answer. The building looked nice from the outside. Red brick, white columns, American flag waving in the breeze. A sign out front said, Welcome to Maple Grove Senior Living, where every day is golden. Inside it smelled like disinfectant and air freshener trying to cover something else. A woman at the front desk smiled at us. Red lipstick, blonde hair, name tag that said Jessica. The Sullivans, right? We've been expecting you. Expecting me. Like a package. Like a delivery. Michael handled the paperwork. I watched him sign form after form, document after document, my name on papers I'd never seen. Wait, I said. What are you signing? Just intake forms, Mom. Standard stuff. I want to read them. Karen laughed. Margaret, there's nothing to worry about. It's all very straightforward. I want to read them. Michael handed me one page. A release form. Authorization for medical treatment. At the bottom, a line that said, duration of stay indefinite. Indefinite. I thought you said 2 weeks. Michael took the paper back. That's just standard language, Mom. Doesn't mean anything. But I saw his face. I saw Karen's face. They meant every word. Jessica led us down a long hallway. Beige walls, beige carpet, beige doors, everything the same. Nothing to mark one room from another. Here we are, she said brightly. Room 217. The door stuck when she opened it. The handle was loose, the paint chipped around the edges. Inside, a single bed, neatly made. A dresser, a small closet, a window that looked out at the parking lot. On the nightstand, a framed photo of Patrick and me from our 25th anniversary. Karen must have put it there. A nice touch, a cruel touch. Michael hugged me. I stood rigid in his arms. I'll call you tomorrow, Mom. I promise. He walked out. Karen paused at the door. You'll thank us someday, Margaret. Then she was gone too. I stood in that room, still wearing Patrick's coat, and listened to their footsteps fade down the hall. I heard the elevator ding, the automatic doors open and close. Then silence. I didn't cry. Not yet. I walked to the window and looked out at the parking lot, watched Michael's car pull away, watched my life drive off without me. After a while, I tried the door. It opened. That was something. I walked to the front desk. Jessica was still there typing on a computer. Excuse me, I said. When can I leave? She looked up, puzzled. Leave, yes. To go outside. To the store, maybe. Or just for a walk. She smiled that patient smile people use when they think you're confused. Mrs. Sullivan, you're a full resident now. We don't allow unsupervised outings during the adjustment period. Adjustment period? How long is that? It varies. Usually a few weeks, sometimes longer. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. Can I use the phone I need to call someone? She checked her computer. I don't see phone privileges on your care plan. Your son requested limited communication during adjustment. He what? She shrugged. It's common, actually. Helps with the transition. Less anxiety. I gripped the edge of the counter. I am a 76-year-old woman. I was a school teacher for 35 years. I have a master's degree in education. I am not a child. Jessica's smile didn't waver. Of course not, Mrs. Sullivan. We're just here to help you settle in. I walked back to my room, closed the door, sat on the bed that wasn't mine, in a room that wasn't mine, wearing a coat that still smelled like my husband. That's when I put my hand in the pocket, the one that never zipped. I did it without thinking, the way you do something you've done 1,000 times before. My fingers touched paper. I pulled it out. A lottery ticket. Powerball. The numbers filled in with black ink. Patrick's handwriting. Neat, careful letters. The purchase date 1 week ago. 1 week ago. Patrick had been dead for 3 years. I turned the ticket over. On the back, in Patrick's handwriting, for Maggie, just in case. My hands started shaking. Patrick used to buy lottery tickets every week. $2, same numbers, same store. He said hope was the cheapest thing you could buy. After he died, I stopped going through his things. It was too painful. His coat hung in the closet untouched, his desk drawer still full of papers, his nightstand still holding his reading glasses and the mystery novel he never finished. But Patrick hadn't bought this ticket. He couldn't have. He was gone. Which meant someone else wrote this, someone who knew his handwriting, someone who wanted me to find it. I sat on that bed for a long time holding that ticket, trying to understand. The next morning, I asked Jessica again about the phone. Emergency use only, she said. I have an emergency. She raised an eyebrow. What kind of emergency? I need to check something. Something important. She sighed. Fine. 5 minutes. The phone's in the office. I called the lottery hotline, punched in the numbers, listened to the automated voice recite the winning numbers from last Saturday's drawing. My numbers. All 6 of them. I hung up the phone and stood there in that tiny office holding a piece of paper worth $62 million. I didn't scream. I didn't laugh. I didn't do anything except breathe. Then I folded the ticket carefully, put it back in my pocket, and walked out. Thank you, I said to Jessica. False alarm. That night, I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. The ticket was under my pillow, pressed against the thin mattress. $62 million. Enough to buy my house back 100 times over. Enough to hire the best lawyers in Vermont. Enough to make sure no one ever locked me anywhere again. But how do you claim a lottery ticket when you can't leave? When you have no phone, no ID, no access to your own bank account? When your son controls everything? I needed help. But I didn't know anyone here. I didn't trust anyone here. The next morning, I went to breakfast. Powdered eggs, soggy toast, weak coffee. I sat alone at a table near the window. A woman sat down across from me. White hair cut short, sharp eyes, a face that had seen things and decided not to be bothered by them anymore. You're new, she said. It wasn't a question. Room 217. She nodded. I'm Ruth. Room 112. Been here 6 years. 6 years by choice. She laughed, a dry sound like leaves scraping pavement. Nobody's here by choice, honey. We're here because someone decided we were too much trouble to keep around. She sipped her coffee, made a face. This stuff tastes like dishwater. I bring my own tea. Want some? I nodded. She pulled out 2 tea bags from her pocket and handed me one. English breakfast. The good kind. Not the garbage they serve here. We drank our tea in silence. It was the first moment since arriving that felt almost human. Let me guess, Ruth said finally. Family dropped you off, said it was temporary, said they'd visit every week. I nodded. They won't. She stirred her tea. Doesn't matter who they are. Sons, daughters, doesn't matter. They come once, twice, then the visits stretch out. Once a month, once a season. Then Christmas and birthdays only. Then nothing. Your family daughter. Lives in Florida now. Sends cards sometimes, never calls. I looked at this woman 6 years in this place and I saw my future, or at least the future they'd planned for me. I'm not staying, I said quietly. Ruth smiled. That's what I said too. First month, first year. Then you get tired. Then you stop fighting. Then you're just waiting. Waiting for what? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. That afternoon, I asked to speak to the administrator, a man named Douglas Baker. Thin 50s, wore glasses that kept sliding down his nose. "Mrs. Sullivan," he said, leaning back in his chair. "How can I help you? I want to understand my situation." My son said this was temporary. He nodded slowly. "I see. Well, according to your paperwork, you're listed as a permanent resident." "Permanent," he said. 2 weeks. Baker shrugged. "That's between you and your family. My job is to ensure you're comfortable." "I'm not comfortable. I want to leave." He steepled his fingers. "Mrs. Sullivan, do you have somewhere to go? I have a house. My understanding is that your son is managing your property. Managing it how?" He shifted uncomfortably. "I'm not privy to those details. You'd need to discuss that with your family. I can't discuss anything with anyone. I'm not allowed to make phone calls." He smiled, that terrible patient smile. "That's for your own well-being, Mrs. Sullivan. The transition can be overwhelming. We find that limiting outside contact helps residents adjust. I adjust better when I'm not treated like a prisoner." His smile tightened. "We're not a prison, Mrs. Sullivan. We're a care facility. Then let me walk out the front door." He stood, signaling the conversation was over. "Give it time, Mrs. Sullivan. Everyone feels this way at first. You'll settle in. They all do." I walked back to my room with my hands shaking, not from fear, from rage. That night I took the ticket out and looked at it under the lamp. Patrick's handwriting, his numbers, his hope. "I don't know who put this in my pocket," I whispered, "but thank you." Then I hid it in the lining of my coat in the spot where the seam had come loose years ago. The spot Patrick always meant to fix, but never did. I slept with the coat beside me like a person, like protection. In the morning, Ruth found me in the hallway. "You look different," she said. "Less beaten." "I'm thinking. About what? About how to get out." She studied me for a long moment. "Most people who say that don't mean it. They just want to feel like they have a choice. But you..." She tilted her head. "You actually have a plan." "Not yet. But I will." She smiled, showing teeth that were still strong. "I like you, Maggie Sullivan. Let me know if you need help. I need a phone." She glanced around, then leaned closer. "Night shift nurse," she whispered. "Young one, brown hair, always on her cell. She's lazy. Leaves the office unlocked during her smoke breaks. 10:45 every night, like clockwork. How do you know that, honey? I've been here 6 years. I know everything." That night, I lay awake until 10:40. Then I put on Patrick's coat and walked to the front office. The night nurse was outside, visible through the glass doors, cigarette glowing in the dark. The office door was open. I moved quickly. Old, but not slow. The staff phone sat on the desk. I picked it up, dialed information, asked for estate lawyers in Burlington. 4 names. I wrote them on my hand with a pen from the desk. Then I called the first one. Voicemail. Second one. Voicemail. Third one. A woman answered. "Chen and Associates. How may I help you?" "My name is Margaret Sullivan. I'm being held in Maple Grove Senior Living against my will. I need a lawyer. Tonight." There was a pause. "Mrs. Sullivan, our office hours are 9 to 5. I can schedule you for..." "Please," I said. My voice broke. "Please. I don't know if I'll be able to call again. My son has power of attorney. He took everything. My house, my phone, my freedom. I need help." Another pause, longer this time. "Hold on," the woman said. "Let me get Mr. Chen." A minute passed. 2. Then a man's voice. Deep calm. "Mrs. Sullivan, this is David Chen. Tell me everything." I talked for 12 minutes. Everything Michael had done. The missing documents, the care plan I never signed, the ticket in my coat. When I finished, David Chen was quiet for a moment. "Mrs. Sullivan," he said finally, "you have a very strong case. Power of attorney abuse is more common than people think. But combined with the lottery ticket, this becomes complicated. We need to move carefully. Can you help me? I can try. But I need to see you in person. Can you get out? No. But you can get in. Visiting hours are 9 to 5. I'll be there tomorrow at 2. Don't tell anyone I'm coming. And Mrs. Sullivan." "Yes." Don't touch that ticket. Don't tell anyone else about it. The moment your son finds out, everything changes." I hung up as the night nurse came back inside. She didn't notice me slipping down the hallway, didn't notice anything except her phone. Back in my room, I sat on the bed with Patrick's coat in my lap. "I did it," I whispered. "I made a call. I found a lawyer. I started to fight." Outside my window, the moon was full. I hadn't noticed before, hadn't looked up at the sky since I arrived. I looked now. Patrick used to say the moon was just the sun's way of checking on us at night, making sure we were okay. "I'm okay," I whispered. "Or I will be." Then I closed my eyes, and for the first time since arriving at Maple Grove, I fell asleep without dreaming of escape. Because escape wasn't a dream anymore. It was a plan. David Chen arrived at exactly 2 o'clock. I watched him from the window of the common room walking across the parking lot in a gray suit carrying a leather briefcase. He moved like a man who had done this before, visited places like this, helped people like me. I met him in the family lounge, a small room with fake plants and furniture that looked comfortable but wasn't. He closed the door behind us. "Mrs. Sullivan," he said, extending his hand. His grip was firm, his eyes steady. "Thank you for coming." He sat across from me and opened his briefcase. Inside, a yellow legal pad already covered in notes. "I did some research last night," he said. "Your son filed for power of attorney 18 months ago while your husband was in hospice. The document grants him authority over financial and medical decisions in the event of your incapacity. But I'm not incapacitated. That's exactly the problem." He leaned forward. "To invoke power of attorney, there needs to be documented evidence of incapacity, a doctor's statement, cognitive assessments. Your son provided documentation from a Dr. Harold Patterson. Dr. Patterson is my physician. He never said I was incapacitated." David slid a paper across the table. "According to this, he did. Signed statement dated 3 weeks ago. It says you exhibited signs of memory loss, confusion, and inability to manage daily activities." I read the document. My hands were shaking. "This is a lie. I missed 2 appointments because I rescheduled them. I left the stove on once for 10 minutes. That's not incapacity." "I believe you," David said. "But legally, this document gives your son the authority to make decisions on your behalf, including placing you here. So what can I do?" "We challenge it." He pulled out another form. "We request an independent cognitive evaluation. If it shows you're competent, we petition the court to revoke the power of attorney. How long does that take? Weeks? Maybe months?" "Courts move slowly. I don't have months. They're doing something to my house. I can feel it." David nodded slowly. "I looked into that too. Your son listed the property with a private real estate agent 4 days ago. The listing isn't public yet, but they're preparing for sale." The room tilted. My house. Patrick's house. The home we built together for 40 years. Can they do that? With power of attorney over your financial affairs? Yes. Technically, they can sell any asset in your name. I closed my eyes, tried to breathe. "Mrs. Sullivan," David said gently, "tell me about the ticket." I reached into my coat and pulled it from the hidden seam, handed it to him. He studied it for a long moment, turned it over, read the note on the back. "Your husband's handwriting." "Yes, but he's been dead for 3 years. He didn't buy this ticket. Someone did. Someone who wanted you to find it. Who would do that?" David looked at me. "Who else knew about your husband's lottery habit?" "The numbers he played. My granddaughter," I said slowly. "Emma. She used to go with Patrick to buy tickets when she was little. She called them hope tickets. Is she close to you?" "Very. She's the only one who calls me regularly, the only one who still treats me like a person." David wrote something on his pad. "We need to verify this ticket without alerting your son. If he finds out, he'll claim it's part of your estate. Claim he has authority over the winnings. How do we verify it? I have a contact at the Lottery Commission. Discreet. He can confirm the numbers without filing an official claim. And if it's real, then we set up a trust. Anonymous. The winnings go into the trust, not into your name. Your son can't touch what he can't see." I looked at this man I'd known for 15 minutes, a stranger who was offering me a lifeline. "Why are you helping me?" He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "My grandmother, same situation, different outcome. By the time I became a lawyer, she was gone. I promised myself I'd help people like her. People like you." I nodded. Didn't need to say anything else. David stood. "I'll be back in 3 days with the cognitive evaluation paperwork. In the meantime, don't tell anyone about this. Not the staff, not other residents, no one. There's one person," I said. "Ruth. She's helped me already. Can you trust her? She's been here 6 years, alone, forgotten. If anyone understands, it's her." David considered this. "Be careful. The fewer people who know, the safer you are." After he left, I sat in that lounge for a long time. The afternoon sun came through the window warm on my face. I hadn't felt warm in days. That evening, Ruth found me at dinner. She sat across from me with her tray of gray meat and watery vegetables. "You look different," she said. "Something happened. A lawyer came to see me." Her eyebrows rose. "Fast work. Good lawyer, I think so." She pushed her peas around her plate. "What's the plan?" "Challenge the power of attorney. Prove I'm competent. Get out." Ruth nodded slowly. "And what aren't you telling me?" I hesitated. David said to trust no one. But Ruth had already helped me once, and there was something in her eyes, something that told me she understood what it meant to have nothing left but hope. I found something I said quietly. "In my coat. Something valuable." "How valuable?" "Very." She studied me for a long moment. Then she smiled. "Good," she said. "Use it. Whatever it is. Use it to burn this place down." "Not literally. Of course not literally." She laughed. "Metaphorically. Burn down every lie they told you, every door they locked, every phone call they denied. Make them watch you walk out of here with your head high. That's the plan." She raised her glass of watered-down juice. "To plans," she said, "and to the people stupid enough to underestimate us." We clinked glasses. It felt like a promise. 3 days later, Michael came to visit. Alone this time. No Karen. He brought flowers, yellow roses, my favorites. Or at least they used to be. He found me in the garden sitting on a bench near the fake fountain that never worked. "Mom," he said, sitting beside me, "you look good." I didn't respond. He set the flowers on the bench between us, like a barrier, like an offering. "I've been thinking," he said, "about everything, about how this happened. I know you're angry. I'm not angry." He looked surprised. "You're not—" "I'm past anger, Michael. I'm somewhere else now." He shifted uncomfortably. "Mom, I need you to understand. We did this because we were scared. The stove, the appointments, you forgetting things. We thought we were losing you. You were losing me because you stopped paying attention. You stopped calling. You stopped visiting. Then suddenly you show up and decide I can't take care of myself. That's not fair, isn't it? When did you last visit before this Christmas?" "No, you canceled Christmas," said Karen had the flu. She did have the flu. "When did you last call? Just to talk. Not to check on the house, not to ask about insurance papers, just to talk." He was quiet. "You don't remember," I said. "Because you didn't. Patrick called you every Sunday. Every single Sunday for 30 years. After he died, you called me twice. Twice in 3 years. Mom, I've been busy. Everyone's busy, Michael. That's not an excuse. That's a choice." He ran his hand through his hair. The same gesture Patrick used to make when he was frustrated. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to tell me the truth. About the house." His face changed, tightened. "What about the house you're selling it?" He stood up. "Who told you that I know Michael? I know you listed it. I know Karen's already picked out new furniture for the money. I know everything." He turned away from me, looked out at the garden that was mostly concrete. "The taxes are expensive," he said. "The maintenance. It doesn't make sense to keep it empty. It's not empty. It's mine. You're here now, Mom. You can't live there because you put me here." He spun around. "Because you need care, professional care. Not some creaky old house with stairs you can't climb and a stove you can't remember to turn off. I climbed those stairs for 40 years. I managed that stove for 40 years. I raised you in that house, Michael. I nursed your father there when he was dying. That house is my life. Lives change," he said. His voice was cold now. "Flat. You have to accept that." No, I don't. He picked up the flowers, looked at them like he was seeing them for the first time. I'm trying to help you, Mom. Why can't you see that? Because helping would be asking what I want. Helping would be listening. Helping would be treating me like your mother instead of a problem to be solved. He shook his head. I can't do this right now. I'll come back when you're calmer. I watched him walk away. His shoulders were stiff, his steps quick. The flowers stayed on the bench. I left them there. That night my phone rang. Not the staff phone, the phone in my room that I didn't know I had. It rang twice before I realized what it was. I answered. Grandma, it was Emma. Her voice was shaking. Emma, how did you call me? I talked to one of the nurses, told her it was an emergency. What's wrong? Dad's selling the house. The listing goes live tomorrow. I saw the paperwork on his desk. I know. Grandma, you have to stop him. That's your house, yours and Grandpa's. I'm trying, sweetheart. I have a lawyer. We're working on it. She was crying now. I could hear it. This isn't right. None of this is right. You shouldn't be there. Emma, listen to me. I need you to do something. Anything. Do you remember the lottery tickets, the ones you used to buy with Grandpa? She sniffled. The Hope tickets. Yes. Do you remember the numbers he played? Of course. 7, 14, 23, 31, 42, and 11. His lucky numbers. My birthday, your anniversary, and the day he met you. My heart stopped. Emma, did you put a ticket in my coat? Silence. Grandma, I didn't know what else to do. After the funeral, I found a whole stack of tickets in his desk, all with the same numbers. He bought them months in advance. I took one. I wrote his handwriting as best I could. I put it in your coat the day before Dad took you. I thought maybe it would be a sign. Something to remind you of him. I never expected it to actually win. It won, I said. Emma, it won. What's $62 million? She gasped. Oh my God. Grandma, oh my God. I need you to stay quiet. Don't tell your father. Don't tell anyone. My lawyer is handling it. Grandma, this is incredible. This changes everything. It changes nothing if your father finds out. He'll claim the money belongs to my estate. He'll take it like he's taking everything else. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, What do you need me to do? Just keep being yourself. Keep calling me. Keep being the one person in this family I can trust. I love you, Grandma. I love you too, sweetheart. More than you know. After we hung up, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Emma. Sweet, thoughtful Emma. She'd given me hope without knowing what she was doing. Patrick used to say angels don't always have wings. Sometimes they have messy hair and college debt and a habit of forgetting to call on Sundays. Emma was my angel. The next morning, David called the staff phone. I took it in the hallway watching for Jessica. The ticket is verified, he said. You won. $62 million before taxes, approximately $43 million after. I leaned against the wall. Let the numbers wash over me. What now? Now we protect it. I'm setting up the trust today. Clara Whitmore. That's your legal alias. All winnings go into the trust. Your son won't see a dime unless you choose to give it. And the power of attorney. The cognitive evaluation is scheduled for next Tuesday. A doctor from Montpelier. Independent. If you pass, and you will, we file the petition immediately. What about the house I'm working on an injunction? If we can prove your son is mishandling your assets, we can freeze everything until the court decides. How long? Could be weeks. Could be longer. I don't have longer, David. The listing goes live today. I know. He paused. There might be another way. Tell me. If someone else made an offer on the house, a competitive offer, it would delay the sale while your son considers it. Who would do that? The trust. David said, Clara Whitmore could make an offer on the Sullivan property. Anonymous. Your son wouldn't know it was you. Buy my own house back. Technically, yes. The money would stay in the trust. The house would transfer to the trust. Your son would receive the proceeds which he'd have to account for legally. And you'd still control the asset. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Do it, I said. I'll have the paperwork ready by tomorrow. After we hung up, I walked back to my room. Ruth was waiting in the hallway. "You look like you just won the lottery," she said. I smiled. "You have no idea." That evening, I did something I hadn't done since arriving. I went to the common room, sat with the other residents, listened to their stories. An old man named Frank talked about his wife dead 15 years. A woman named Dolores showed everyone photos of grandchildren she never saw. Another woman, very thin, very quiet, just stared at the television without watching. These were my people now, the forgotten ones, the stored ones. But I was going to leave, and when I did, I wasn't going to forget them. Ruth sat beside me. "You're planning something," she said, "something big." "How do you know?" "Because you have that look. The look people get when they finally decide to fight back." I turned to her. "Ruth, when I get out of here, I'm going to help you. Help me how, whatever you need. A lawyer, a new place, a chance to start over." She laughed. "Honey, I'm 82. There's no starting over for me. There's always starting over." I took her hand. "You helped me when you didn't have to. You showed me how to survive here. Let me return the favor." She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You know what I miss most? My own tea. The real stuff. Not this garbage they serve. When I get out, I'll send you a case of English breakfast. The good kind." She squeezed my hand. "You do that. And maybe a lawyer wouldn't hurt either. Deal." That night, I dreamed of Patrick. We were standing in our kitchen, sun coming through the window, coffee brewing on the counter. He was smiling at me. "You found it," he said. "The ticket, no. Your strength, you found it again. I miss you. I know, but you don't need me anymore. You've got yourself." I woke up crying, but not from sadness, from something else, something like hope. The next morning, David called with news. "The offer's been submitted," he said. $1.4 million, cash, 30-day close. Will he take it? He'd be a fool not to. It's above market value. Clean deal. What if he investigates? Finds out it's connected to me. He won't. The trust is airtight. Clara Whitmore doesn't exist in any database he can access. And the cognitive evaluation. Tuesday, 10 a.m. Be ready. I'm always ready. After we hung up, I went to find Ruth. She was in her usual spot by the window watching birds she couldn't quite see. I sat beside her. "What's the news?" she asked. "The offer went in. Now we wait." She nodded. "Waiting. That's what we do here. Wait for meals, wait for visitors who don't come, wait for the end. Not me, not anymore." She turned to me. Her eyes were cloudy but sharp beneath the haze. "You know what I realized after my daughter left me here? Life doesn't stop when they take things from you. It stops when you let them, when you accept their version of who you are." "I'm not accepting anything." "Good," she smiled. "Then make them pay. Not with money, with truth. Make them see what they did. Make them live with it. I will." She patted my hand. "And send me that tea." I laughed. It was the first time I'd laughed in weeks. Real laughter. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. Ruth laughed too. Two old women sitting by a window laughing at the absurdity of everything. It felt like rebellion. It felt like the beginning of the end. Tuesday came faster than Maggie expected. She woke at 5 in the morning, heart already pounding. The cognitive evaluation was scheduled for 10. 5 hours to wait. 5 hours to prepare herself for the test that would determine everything. She dressed carefully. The blue cardigan Emma had sent for her birthday last year. The pearl earrings Patrick gave her on their 30th anniversary. Her winter coat, heavy with secrets, hung on the back of the chair like a silent guardian. At breakfast, Ruth noticed the change. "Today's the day," she said. Maggie nodded. "The evaluation. You'll pass." Ruth pushed her tray aside. "You're sharper than half the staff here. What if I don't? Then we figure out something else. That's what survivors do. We adapt." Maggie wanted to believe her, wanted to feel the confidence Ruth seemed to have in her, but doubt crept in like cold air under a door. The doctor arrived at 9:45, Dr. Sarah Mitchell from Montpelier, young, maybe 40, with kind eyes and a clipboard that seemed less threatening than the ones the staff carried. "Mrs. Sullivan," she said, extending her hand, "I'm here to conduct an independent cognitive assessment. Do you understand what that means? You're here to determine if I'm competent to manage my own affairs." Dr. Mitchell smiled slightly. That's exactly right. Shall we begin? They sat in the family lounge, the same room where Maggie had met David, where Michael had brought flowers he didn't mean. Now it would be the room that decided her future. The questions started simple. What year is it? Who is the current president? What season are we in? Maggie answered each one clearly. No hesitation, no confusion. Then came the memory tests. Remember these 3 words, apple, table, penny. I'll ask you to repeat them later. More questions, counting backwards from 100 by sevens, drawing a clock showing 10 past 11, naming as many animals as possible in 1 minute. Maggie's mind worked quickly, pulling answers from places she didn't know she still had access to. 35 years of teaching had trained her brain to perform under pressure. That training hadn't disappeared just because her son wanted it to. Now Dr. Mitchell said, "Can you tell me the 3 words I asked you to remember? Apple, table, penny." The doctor made a note. Then she set down her clipboard. "Mrs. Sullivan, can you tell me why you're here?" "At Maple Grove, my son placed me here. He said I was a danger to myself." "Do you believe that?" "No. I left a stove burner on for 10 minutes. I rescheduled 2 doctor's appointments. Those aren't signs of incapacity. Those are signs of being human." Dr. Mitchell nodded. "And how do you feel about being here?" Maggie took a breath. "I feel like I've been erased. Like everything I built over 76 years has been packed into boxes and stored in a basement. I had a life, a home, an identity. Now I have a room number and a care plan I never agreed to." "What would you do if you were released?" "Go home, hire help if I need it, make my own decisions about my own life." The doctor studied her for a long moment. Then she closed her notebook. "Mrs. Sullivan, in my professional opinion, you show no signs of cognitive impairment. Your memory is intact, your reasoning is clear, your emotional responses are appropriate. So I pass with flying colors. I'll submit my report to the court today." Maggie felt something release in her chest, something she'd been holding since the day Michael drove her here. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. You did the work." Dr. Mitchell stood. "I hope you get your life back, Mrs. Sullivan. You deserve it." After she left, Maggie sat alone in the lounge. The afternoon sun made patterns on the floor. She watched them move, thinking about time, about how much of it she'd lost, about how much she might still have. Ruth found her there an hour later. "Well, I passed." Ruth's face split into a grin. "Of course you did. I told you. It's not over yet. The court still has to rule. But this is a step. A big one." Ruth sat beside her. "You should celebrate. How do you celebrate in a place like this? Same way you survive. One small victory at a time." That evening, Maggie called David from the staff phone during Jessica's smoke break. "I heard from Dr. Mitchell," he said. "Her report is excellent. We're filing the petition tomorrow." "How long until the hearing?" I pushed for expedited review. "Given the circumstances, maybe a week. And the house your son received the offer. He's considering it. Considering it's above market value. He's suspicious. Asked his agent to investigate the buyer. Can he trace it back to me? Not through normal channels. The trust is solid. But suspicion is enough to make someone dig deeper." Maggie gripped the phone tighter. "What do? We wait. And we hope he's greedy enough to take the money before he finds anything." After they hung up, Maggie walked back to her room. The hallway was quiet. Most residents were asleep by 9. The only sounds were the soft beeping of monitors and the shuffle of night staff making rounds. She passed Ruth's door. It was closed, but light showed beneath it. Ruth never slept early. Too many years of insomnia, she said. Too many thoughts that wouldn't quiet. Maggie knocked softly. "Come in." Ruth was sitting by her window, wrapped in a shawl that had seen better decades. She looked smaller somehow, frailer than she had that morning. "Can't sleep?" Maggie asked. "Never could." Ruth turned. "You neither. Too much thinking. That's the curse of people like us. We think when we should rest." Maggie sat on the edge of Ruth's bed. The mattress sagged under her weight. "Can I tell you something?" Ruth asked. "Anything. I'm dying." The words hung in the air. Simple, direct, devastating. "What?" "Cancer." Ruth said it like she was commenting on the weather. "Diagnosed 8 months ago. They wanted to do treatment, but I said no. I've lived long enough. I'm tired. Ruth, why didn't you tell me? Because you had enough to deal with, and because it doesn't change anything. We're all dying. I'm just doing it on a schedule. Maggie felt tears building. She'd known this woman for less than 2 weeks, but Ruth had become something precious, a friend, an ally, a reminder that strength doesn't fade with age. How long? Few weeks. Maybe a month. The doctors here don't know. I didn't tell them. Ruth smiled. I figure I'll just go to sleep one night and not wake up. That's how Patrick went, isn't it? Yes. In his sleep. Peaceful. That's what I want. No machines, no panic, just quiet. They sat together in silence. Outside, the moon was rising, a sliver of white against the dark sky. Promise me something, Ruth said. Anything. When you get out of here, live. Really live. Don't waste time on anger or regret. Just find a quiet place, make yourself some tea and breathe, I promise. And send me that tea before I go. I want to taste something real one more time. Maggie laughed through her tears. English breakfast. The good kind. The very best. Maggie stayed with Ruth until midnight. They talked about everything and nothing. Old memories, lost loves, the children who disappointed them, and the moments that made it all worthwhile. When she finally went back to her room, Maggie felt something she hadn't felt in years. Gratitude for Ruth, for Emma, for David, for everyone who had shown her that kindness still existed, even in places designed to make you forget. She slept deeply that night. No dreams, just rest. The next morning, everything changed. Michael arrived at 9 a.m. No flowers this time, no pretense of concern. He walked past the front desk without signing in and found Maggie in the dining hall. We need to talk. His voice was different, harder, angrier than she'd ever heard. About what? The offer on the house. Someone's trying to buy it. Anonymous buyer, way above asking price. Isn't that what you wanted? A quick sale? I wanted a sale I could control. This feels wrong. Who pays $1 million for a house worth $1 million? Someone who wants it badly. Michael leaned closer. His breath smelled like coffee and something sharper. Desperation, maybe. Is this you? Did you hire someone? Some lawyer to mess with me? I've been locked in this building for 3 weeks. How would I hire anyone? Don't play games with me, Mom. I know you've been making phone calls. The staff told me. The staff talks too much. He slammed his hand on the table. Several residents looked up startled. A nurse started walking toward them. I am trying to help you, he hissed. I am trying to manage a situation that's out of control. The house needs to sell. The bills need to be paid. And you're sitting here acting like I'm the enemy. Maggie looked at her son. Really looked at him. The boy she'd raised, the man he'd become, the stranger staring back at her now. You put me here without asking, she said quietly. You took my home, my phone, my car. You signed papers in my name without my consent. And you're asking why I might be upset. It was for your own good. Was it? Or was it for yours? Michael stood up so fast his chair fell over. I don't have to listen to this. No, you don't. But you will listen to the court. He froze. What court? I filed a petition. To revoke your power of attorney. I had an independent cognitive evaluation yesterday. I passed with flying colors. In about a week, a judge is going to look at everything you've done and decide whether you had the right to do it. His face went pale, then red, then something in between that looked like fear. You can't do that. I already did. He pointed a finger at her. This isn't over. No, it's just beginning. Michael stormed out. The dining hall was silent. Every eye was on Maggie. She picked up her coffee cup and took a sip. It was cold, but it tasted like victory. That afternoon, David called with news. He's panicking. Your son called 3 real estate attorneys this morning asking about the sale. He's trying to push it through before the hearing. Can he not if I file the injunction today, which I'm doing in about an hour? Thank you, David. Don't thank me yet. He's going to fight, and he's going to get desperate. I know. Desperate people do dangerous things. Watch yourself. After they hung up, Maggie went to find Ruth. Her door was open, but the room was dark. Ruth was lying in bed, eyes closed. Ruth. No response. Maggie moved closer, touched her hand. It was cold. Ruth, nothing. No movement, no breath, just silence. Maggie sat down on the edge of the bed, held Ruth's hand in both of hers. Let the tears come. A nurse found them 20 minutes later. By then Maggie had said her goodbyes, had thanked Ruth for everything, had promised again to send the tea even though there was no one left to receive it. They took Ruth's body at noon. By 3, the room was empty. By 5, a new name was on the door. That night, Maggie sat alone in the common room. The television played some game show no one was watching. Other residents shuffled past. None of them asked about Ruth. None of them seemed to notice she was gone. This is what happens, Maggie thought. You live a whole life, and then you disappear, and the world keeps moving like you were never here. She wouldn't let that happen to her, not without a fight. The hearing was scheduled for Friday, 5 days away. 5 days to wait to prepare to survive whatever Michael threw at her next. On Wednesday, he came again. This time with Karen. "We want to talk," Karen said. Calmly, like they were discussing dinner plans. "So talk." They sat in the lounge. The fake plants seemed to mock them all. "We made some mistakes," Michael said. The words sounded rehearsed. "We moved too fast. We should have talked to you more. You should have listened." Karen jumped in. "We're willing to compromise. Drop the petition and we'll bring you home. Hire a live-in nurse. Let you keep the house." Maggie studied them both, their nervous eyes, their forced smiles, their desperation leaking through every pore. "Why now?" "Because we're family." Michael reached for her hand. She pulled away. "Because despite everything, I love you, Mom. You love what I have. The house, the assets. Whatever you can squeeze from what Patrick left me, that's not fair." "No. What's not fair is being locked up like an animal because I left a stove on. What's not fair is watching my home get sold out from under me. What's not fair is losing my name, my identity, my dignity, all because you decided I was too much trouble." Karen's mask slipped. Her voice went sharp. "We gave up our lives for you. Weekends, holidays, always checking in, always worrying. Checking in. You called twice a year, always to ask for something, never just to talk. That's not true. It is true, and both of you know it." Michael stood. "This is pointless. We tried to be reasonable. You tried to save yourselves. There's a difference." They left without another word. Maggie watched them go, feeling nothing. They'd used up all the emotions she had for them. Now there was only purpose. Thursday, David came for a final meeting. The injunction was granted, he said. "Your son can't sell the house until the court rules on your petition, and the petition's strong. Between the cognitive evaluation and the documentation of financial mismanagement, I think we have a solid case. What happens if we win? The power of attorney is revoked. You regain full control of your assets. Your son has no legal authority over your life, and if we lose, we won't lose." Maggie looked at him. "You can't promise that." "No, but I can promise I'll fight like hell. That's enough." That night, Maggie dreamed of Patrick. They were young again, dancing in their kitchen to some song on the radio. He held her close, and she could smell his aftershave, feel his heartbeat against her chest. "You're almost there," he said. "Almost we're home." She woke up crying, but this time the tears felt like cleansing, like letting go. Friday morning arrived gray and cold. A car came for Maggie at 8. David had arranged everything. Legal escort proper, documentation clearance from the facility. Jessica watched her go with something like surprise. "You're actually leaving for now. Will you be back?" Maggie smiled. "I don't plan on it." The courthouse was old brick with white columns, American flag flying out front. Inside it smelled like floor polish and anxiety. The hearing room was small. A judge's bench at the front, 2 tables facing it. Maggie sat at one with David. Michael and Karen sat at the other with their attorney. The judge was a woman in her 60s, gray hair pulled back tight, reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked like someone who'd heard every lie and excuse in the book. "We're here to consider a petition to revoke power of attorney granted to Michael Sullivan over the affairs of Margaret Sullivan." She looked up. "I've reviewed the documentation. I have questions." She turned to Michael's attorney. The power of attorney was invoked based on claims of cognitive decline, yet the independent evaluation shows no impairment. Can you explain? The attorney stood, Your Honor. The family had concerns based on several incidents: a stove left on, missed medical appointments, confusion during phone calls. The judge turned to David. Response: David stood. Your Honor, leaving a stove on for 10 minutes is not evidence of incapacity. Rescheduling appointments is not evidence of incapacity. The only documented claim of cognitive decline came from a physician who was subsequently revealed to have financial ties to Mr. Sullivan's business interests. Murmurs in the room. Michael's face went white. The judge removed her glasses. Is this true? David handed her a folder. Dr. Harold Patterson received a consulting fee from Sullivan Real Estate 3 months before signing the statement. We believe his evaluation was influenced by this relationship. Michael stood up. That's a lie. Dr. Patterson is my mother's doctor. He was just trying to help. The judge's voice was sharp. Mr. Sullivan, you'll have your opportunity to speak. Sit down. He sat. Karen grabbed his arm. The judge continued. I've also reviewed evidence of financial transactions made under the power of attorney, a house listing without the principal's consent, vehicle sale without documentation, closure of joint accounts. She looked at Michael. Mr. Sullivan, when you accepted power of attorney, you accepted a fiduciary duty, a legal obligation to act in your mother's best interests. Based on what I've seen, you acted in your own. Michael's attorney jumped in. Your Honor, my client believed he was protecting his mother. The decisions were made out of concern, not malice. Concern doesn't excuse violation of fiduciary duty. The hearing continued for 2 more hours. Witnesses were called. Documents were entered. David methodically dismantled every excuse Michael had built. Finally, the judge called for a brief recess. When she returned, her face was unreadable. I've considered all evidence presented today. She looked at Maggie. Mrs. Sullivan, please rise. Maggie stood. Her legs were shaking. Her heart was pounding. Based on the evidence, I find that the power of attorney was improperly invoked. There is no credible evidence of cognitive impairment. Furthermore, I find that Mr. Michael Sullivan violated his fiduciary duty by making financial decisions that served his interests rather than those of his mother. She paused. Therefore, I am revoking the power of attorney effective immediately. Mrs. Sullivan, you are hereby restored to full legal authority over your own affairs. Maggie's knees buckled. David caught her arm. Additionally, the judge continued, I am ordering a full accounting of all financial transactions made under the power of attorney. Any funds improperly removed must be returned within 30 days. Michael was on his feet. This isn't right. I was helping her. I was protecting her. The judge's voice was ice. Mr. Sullivan, protection does not mean control. Care does not mean confinement. You had an obligation to your mother, and you failed. Be grateful I'm not referring this for criminal prosecution. The gavel came down. It was over. Outside the courthouse, the air tasted different, cleaner, freer. David stood beside her. How do you feel? Like I just woke up from a nightmare? It's not completely over. There's still the financial accounting, the house, the trust. I know, but right now I just want to stand here and breathe. David nodded. You earned it. Across the parking lot, Michael and Karen were getting into their car. Michael looked over. Their eyes met. Maggie didn't wave, didn't smile, didn't look away. She just stood there, standing on her own 2 feet free for the first time in months. Michael drove away. Maggie watched until his car disappeared. Then she turned to David. Take me home. The drive to 42 Lakeview Drive took 37 minutes. Maggie counted every one of them, watched the familiar streets pass by through the car window, the pharmacy where Patrick used to pick up his prescriptions, the church where they got married in 1969, the elementary school where she taught 4th grade for 35 years. Everything looked the same. Everything felt different. David pulled into the driveway. The house stood exactly as she remembered it. Blue siding, white trim, the porch swing Patrick built the summer before he got sick. The bird feeder hanging from the maple tree, empty now, but still there. Home. She sat in the car for a long moment, just looking. "You okay?" David asked. "I don't know yet." She got out slowly. Her legs felt strange on solid ground, on ground that was hers. The front door was unlocked. That bothered her. Michael must have been coming and going as he pleased, using her house like it belonged to him. Inside, things had changed. The couch was gone, the coffee table, Patrick's recliner where he used to read the Sunday paper, empty spaces where furniture used to be. They took everything, she whispered. David stood behind her. "We can get it back, or replace it. The trust has more than enough. It's not about the money. These were our things, Patrick's things, 40 years of memories." She walked through the house room by room. The kitchen was mostly intact. They'd taken the good dishes, the ones her mother gave her for her wedding. But the cabinets were still there. The window still looked out at the bird feeder. Upstairs, the bedroom was stripped bare. Just the bed frame, nothing else. No dresser, no mirror, no photo of Patrick that used to sit on the nightstand. Maggie sat on the bare mattress. Let the silence wash over her. "They didn't just take my things," she said. "They erased me." David sat beside her. "They tried, but they failed." She looked at him. "How long until the financial accounting?" The court ordered 30 days. Michael has to provide documentation of every transaction he made under the power of attorney. And then we see exactly what he stole, and we make him pay it back. What if he can't? David's jaw tightened. Then we pursue other remedies. Legal speak for punishment. Legal speak for justice. Maggie nodded slowly. She was tired, so tired. The fight had taken everything out of her. But she wasn't done yet. Couldn't be done yet. "I need to call Emma. Use my phone." She dialed the number she knew by heart. Emma answered on the second ring. "Grandma, is it true Dad called Mom screaming about the court?" "It's true. I won." Emma's voice broke. "Oh God, Grandma, I'm so happy. I'm so sorry. I'm so everything." "Don't be sorry. You saved me. The ticket. And more than that, you believed in me when no one else did. I always believed in you. I know, sweetheart. I know." They talked for 20 minutes. Emma said she wanted to come visit, said she'd take time off from school, said she'd do anything to help. "Just come when you can." Maggie told her, "I'm not going anywhere." After she hung up, David had news. "I spoke to the Lottery Commission. The trust is fully funded. 43 million after taxes sitting in accounts you control. 43 million. Numbers that should have meant something. But right now, all Maggie could think about was the empty spaces where her furniture used to be. "What do I do with it?" she asked. "Whatever you want." That's the point. She thought about Ruth, about the tea she promised to send, about the lawyer she promised to find. "I want to help people," she said. "People like me. People who get thrown away by their families and forgotten." David nodded. "We can set up a foundation, the Clara Whitmore Foundation. Anonymous giving to elder advocacy organizations, legal aid for seniors programs that fight exactly what happened to you. Yes, that. And for yourself, a small house somewhere quiet, near the water maybe. A place to make tea in the morning and watch the birds." "What about this house?" She looked around. Patrick's house. Their house. 40 years of memories, most of them stripped away. "I don't know yet. Maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I'll give it to Emma. Maybe I'll turn it into a shelter for people who need somewhere safe." David smiled. "You have time to decide. For the first time in months, you have all the time in the world." That night, Maggie slept in her own bed. The mattress was bare, no sheets, no blankets. She used her coat as a pillow, but it was her bed, in her house, in her life. She slept better than she had in months. The next morning, Michael called. She almost didn't answer, almost let it go to voicemail. But something made her pick up. Mom. His voice sounded different, smaller, defeated. "What do you want, Michael?" "I want to talk. In person. Just you and me." "Why should I?" Because I need to explain. Because you deserve to hear the truth." She thought about it. The safe thing would be to refuse, to let David handle everything, to never speak to her son again. But he was still her son, the boy she'd raised, the man she'd lost somewhere along the way. Come to the house. Tomorrow at noon. She hung up before he could respond. David arrived at 11. Maggie insisted on having him there, not in the room but close, just in case. "Are you sure about this?" he asked. "No, but I need to do it anyway." Michael's car pulled up at exactly noon. He came alone. No Karen, no lawyer. He looked older than he had a week ago, tired, like he hadn't slept since the hearing. Maggie met him at the door. "You came. I said I would." They sat in the empty living room, 2 chairs from the kitchen facing each other, nothing between them. Michael spoke first. "I know you hate me. I don't hate you. I'm disappointed. There's a difference." He looked at the floor. "The house feels different. Smaller. That's what happens when you sell all the furniture." He flinched. "Karen wanted to. Said we needed the money. Karen wanted a lot of things." "What did you want?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "I wanted you to be safe. Safe from what? From yourself. From getting hurt. From winding up like Dad, sick and scared and no one there to help. Patrick had me. Every day until the end. And then he didn't." Michael's voice cracked. "And I watched you fall apart. Forget things. Wander off." "I was terrified, Mom. Terrified I was going to lose you too." Maggie studied her son's face, looking for the lie, looking for the manipulation. All she saw was pain. "So you locked me up. I thought I was protecting you. You were protecting yourself, from having to deal with me, from having to visit, from having to care. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Michael. I lost my husband. I lost my independence. I lost my home. And then I lost my son. Because you decided I was too much trouble to keep around." He started crying, silent tears that tracked down his face. "I'm sorry." 2 words, 7 letters, the weight of 3 months of suffering. Sorry doesn't bring back what I lost. I know. Sorry doesn't undo the hurt. I know. Then what do you want me to say? He looked up at her. "Nothing. I just wanted you to know. I never meant for it to go this far. I never meant to hurt you." "But you did." "Yeah, I did." They sat in silence. The afternoon light shifted through the window. "What about Karen?" Maggie asked finally. Michael shook his head. "She's gone. Packed her things 2 days ago. Said she didn't sign up for this." "For what?" "For losing. She wanted the house, the money, the easy path. When that disappeared, so did she." "I can't say I'm sorry." He laughed bitterly. "Neither can I. I think I knew for a while that she didn't really love me, that she loved what I could give her." Maggie thought about saying something comforting, something motherly, but the words wouldn't come. "What now?" she asked instead. "I don't know. The financial accounting is going to show everything I did, the furniture sales, the account closures, the money I took from your savings. How much? $37,000. He wouldn't meet her eyes. "Karen said we needed it for renovations. I told myself I'd pay it back. But you didn't." "No. The judge said you have 30 days. I know. I've been selling things. The boat. The second car. I'll find the money somehow." Maggie could have helped him. 1 word to David and the debt would be paid. $43 million made $37,000 look like spare change. But she didn't. "You need to earn this," she said. "You need to feel what it costs." "I know." "And after, what happens to us?" Michael stood, walked to the window, looked out at the empty bird feeder. "I don't expect forgiveness," he said. "I don't deserve it. But maybe someday we could try again, start over, build something new. Maybe." Maggie's voice was steady. "But not today. Not tomorrow. You broke something, Michael, something that might not heal." "I know." "Then that's where we start. With knowing." He turned back to her. "Can I hug you?" She thought about it. The anger that still simmered beneath her skin, the hurt that would never fully fade. But he was still her son, would always be her son. Yes. He crossed the room and wrapped his arms around her. She felt him shaking, felt the years of distance finally breaking down. She didn't hug him back, not yet, but she didn't push him away either. That was something. After Michael left, David came in from the kitchen. "How do you feel? Tired?" "Empty. A little bit hopeful. That's more than I expected." She smiled weakly. "He's not a monster. He's just weak. He made terrible choices because he was scared. That doesn't excuse it, but it explains it. Some people would say that makes it worse. Some people haven't raised children. You don't stop loving them just because they hurt you. You just learn to love them differently." David nodded. "What about the financial accounting? Do you want to press for full restitution?" "Yes, he needs to feel the consequences, but I don't want to destroy him." "That's generous. It's practical. Destroying him destroys Emma too, and she's the only good thing that came out of his marriage." Over the next 2 weeks, Maggie began rebuilding. New furniture arrived, simple pieces, nothing fancy, a couch that was comfortable, a table that was sturdy, practical things for a practical life. Emma came to visit on a Saturday. She'd driven 4 hours from Burlington, arriving with groceries and determination. "You look good, Grandma." "I feel good." They cooked dinner together. Pasta with marinara sauce, the recipe Maggie's mother taught her 50 years ago. They ate at the new table, the one that didn't have any memories yet. "I need to tell you something," Maggie said over dessert. "That sounds serious." "It is. I won the lottery." Emma laughed. "I know, Grandma. I'm the one who put the ticket in your coat." "No, I mean, I won. $62 million, 43 after taxes." Emma's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. "What the numbers hit." "The ticket you put in my coat. It was a winner." "Oh my God." Emma's face went pale. "Are you serious?" "Completely serious." "Oh my God." She pushed back from the table. "Grandma? I had no idea." "I just wanted to give you something to remember, Grandpa. I never thought it would actually win, neither did anyone else." Maggie reached across the table and took Emma's hand. "But it did. And I want you to know a portion of that money is yours." "Mine, no." "Grandma, I can't." "You can. $10 million in a trust. You can access it for education housing emergencies. The rest stays locked until you're 30. Emma started crying. "That's insane. That's completely insane. It's practical. You gave me hope when I had nothing. You believed in me when your father gave up." "This is my way of saying thank you. You don't owe me anything." "I know. That's why I'm giving it freely." They sat together as the sun went down. 2 women from different generations connected by blood and love, and a lottery ticket that changed everything. The financial accounting came through 3 weeks later. Michael had to document every transaction, every furniture sale, every account closure, every dollar moved without authorization. The total came to $42,000, plus the attempted sale of the house, plus the emotional damage that couldn't be calculated. David presented the findings. He's liquidating assets to make restitution. Should be complete within the 30-day window. And after that, it's up to you. You could pursue civil claims, pain and suffering, emotional distress. You'd probably win. Maggie thought about it. Thought about Michael's face in the living room, the tears, the regret. No. He pays back what he took. That's enough. You're more forgiving than most. I'm too tired for revenge, and too old to carry hate around. It's heavy. I'd rather put it down. The money came through 5 days before the deadline. A cashier's check for $42,000 delivered to David's office. Michael included a note. "Mom, I know this doesn't fix anything, but I wanted you to know I earned every dollar. Sold the boat, the car, some things Karen left behind. It's not about the money. It's about showing you I understand what I did. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just trying to be better. Love, Michael." Maggie read it 3 times. Then she put it in a drawer with other things she might want to look at someday. A month after the hearing, Maggie made a decision. She called David. "I want to sell the house. Are you sure it doesn't feel like home anymore? Too many bad memories mixed with the good ones. I need somewhere fresh. What about the offer from the trust? Withdraw it. Let the house go on the regular market. Whatever it sells for, put it toward the foundation. And where will you go?" She had been thinking about this, the small house by the water, the quiet mornings, the bird feeders she would build herself. Maine, she said. I found a place online, cottage by the coast, small town where no one knows me, where I can start over. That sounds peaceful. That's the idea. The sale took 6 weeks. The house went for $1.1 million. Every dollar went to the Clara Whitmore Foundation, the organization that would help people like Ruth, people like Maggie herself. On her last day in Vermont, Emma came to say goodbye. You could stay, she said. We could find you a place near campus. I could visit every week. Maggie hugged her granddaughter tight. You need to live your life, sweetheart. Study hard. Become a doctor. Fall in love with someone who deserves you. I'll be fine. I'm going to miss you. I'm a phone call away, and you can visit any time. The cottage has a guest room. Promise, promise. They stood in the empty house. All the new furniture had been donated to a women's shelter. The walls were bare. The rooms echoed. Grandpa would be proud of you, Emma said. I hope so. Maggie touched the wall one last time. I think he's been watching, guiding me through all of this. The hope tickets. Yes, the hope tickets. Emma laughed through her tears. I still can't believe it worked. Neither can I. But some things don't need explaining. They just need accepting. David arrived to take Maggie to the airport. She was flying to Portland, then driving to the cottage, a new life waiting at the end of the road. Ready? He asked. She looked back at the house. 40 years of memories. Patrick's laugh in the kitchen, Michael's first steps in the living room, Emma's drawings on the refrigerator. All gone now, but not forgotten. Ready. The plane ride was short. 2 hours of watching clouds and thinking about what comes next. The rental car was waiting at the airport. A small sedan, nothing fancy, just enough to get her where she needed to go. The cottage was exactly as advertised. Blue shutters, white trim, a porch that faced the ocean. Bird feeders already hanging from the eaves left by the previous owner. Maggie walked through the front door and felt something shift inside her. Home. Not the home she'd lost. Something new, something built on hope instead of habit. She made tea, English breakfast, the good kind, poured it into a ceramic mug she'd bought at a thrift store, sat on the porch and watched the waves roll in. For the first time in months, she felt peaceful. That night she wrote in a new journal, a fresh start, a clean page. Day 1, cottage by the sea. Wind smells like salt and possibility. Made tea. Thought about Ruth. Thought about Patrick. Thought about everything I've been through and everything still ahead. I am 76 years old. I have $43 million I never expected. I have a granddaughter who loves me and a son who might learn to deserve forgiveness. I have a foundation that will help people like me. And I have this moment, this quiet, this peace. They tried to lock me away, tried to erase me, tried to turn me into a name on a door that no one would remember. But I'm still here. And tomorrow I'll wake up and make more tea, watch more birds, write more words. Because that's what survivors do. We keep going. 3 months passed in the cottage by the sea. Maggie learned the rhythm of the tides, the patterns of the birds, the way the morning light came through her kitchen window at exactly 7:15. She made tea every day, English breakfast always. Sometimes she thought about Ruth when she brewed it. Sometimes she just thought about the warmth in her hands. The Clara Whitmore Foundation grew faster than anyone expected. David had assembled a board of directors, all people who understood what it meant to be forgotten. Former social workers, elder rights advocates, a retired judge who had seen too many families tear themselves apart over money. Their first major project was a legal aid hotline. Seniors who suspected abuse could call anonymously. Lawyers would review their cases. Help would follow. Within the first month, they received over 300 calls. Maggie read the intake reports every week, stories that sounded like her own, sons who took control, daughters who disappeared, grandchildren caught in the middle, nursing homes that became prisons, banks that turned blind eyes. Every story made her more certain she had made the right choice. One morning in early December, David called with news. "We have a case I think you should know about," he said. "A woman named Dorothy Pearson, 81 years old. Her son placed her in a facility in New Hampshire 3 months ago. Similar circumstances to yours. Similar how power of attorney invoked without proper documentation. House sold without consent. Bank accounts emptied. She's been trying to fight back, but she doesn't have resources." Maggie felt something tighten in her chest. The familiar anger, the familiar pain. What does she need? A lawyer, an independent evaluation, someone to believe her, send her our best people. Already done. But there's something else. She asked to speak with you, said she read about the foundation online, said she wanted to talk to someone who understood. Maggie hesitated. She had built this foundation to help from a distance, to provide resources without getting personally involved. It was safer that way, cleaner. But she remembered how it felt. The isolation, the desperation, the need for someone, anyone, to say, "I believe you." "Give her my number." Dorothy Pearson called the next afternoon. Her voice was thin but steady, the voice of someone who had been crying for months and finally ran out of tears. "Mrs. Sullivan, please call me Maggie. Maggie, I read about what happened to you. I couldn't believe it. It was like reading my own story. Tell me about yours." Dorothy talked for 45 minutes, her son Bradley, his wife Suzanne, the gradual takeover of her life, the lies they told, the doors they locked. By the end, Maggie was crying too. "They told me I was confused," Dorothy said. "They told the doctors I was dangerous. They said I left the gas on, but I have an electric stove. I don't even have gas. I believe you." The silence on the line stretched. Then Dorothy whispered, "You're the first person who said that. You're not alone anymore. The foundation is going to help you. We have lawyers, resources. We're going to get you out. But what if it doesn't work? What if they win?" "They won't." "How do you know?" "Because I won, and I'm not going to stop until you do too." The case took 8 weeks, longer than Maggie's had, but not by much. The foundation's lawyers were thorough. The evidence was damning. Bradley Pearson had made the same mistakes Michael had, assumed no one was watching, assumed no one would care. He was wrong. The judge revoked the power of attorney on February 3rd. Dorothy was released from the facility the same day. She called Maggie that evening, crying so hard she could barely speak. "I'm home. I'm actually home. How does it feel? Like waking up from a nightmare, like being born again." Maggie smiled through her own tears. "That's exactly how it feels." They talked for 2 hours, about the past, about the future, about the strange gift of finding someone who truly understood. Before they hung up, Dorothy said, "You saved my life." "No, you saved your own life. I just gave you the tools." "Is that what you tell yourself?" "It's the truth. The foundation can provide lawyers and money and resources, but the courage to fight back that comes from inside, you had it all along." Dorothy was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I want to help. Other people like us. I want to do what you're doing, then do it. The foundation needs volunteers, people who understand, people who can sit with someone and say, 'I believe you.' That's all it takes. Sometimes that's everything." Dorothy became the foundation's first volunteer advocate. She answered calls on the hotline, visited people in facilities, held hands and listened, and said the words that changed lives. "I believe you." By spring, there were 20 volunteers. By summer, 50. The Clara Whitmore Foundation expanded to 3 states, then 5, then 10. Maggie watched it grow from her cottage by the sea, read the reports, reviewed the cases, made phone calls when she needed to, but mostly she let others do the work. That was the point, to build something that would outlast her, something that would keep fighting when she was gone. In April, Emma graduated from medical school. Maggie flew to Vermont for the ceremony, sat in the audience and watched her granddaughter walk across the stage, cried when they called her name, Dr. Emma Sullivan. After the ceremony, Emma found her in the crowd. "You came. I wouldn't miss it for anything." They hugged for a long time. Other families moved around them. Other graduates took photos. Maggie didn't care. This moment was hers. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. You're strong. Stronger than you know. Emma pulled back and looked at her grandmother's face. You look happy. Really happy. I am. The cottage, the foundation, the peace, all of it. Emma smiled. Grandpa would be so proud. I think he knows. I think he's been watching all along. They had dinner that night at a small Italian restaurant near campus. Just the two of them. They talked about Emma's residency, her plans for the future, the patients she wanted to help. You should specialize in geriatrics, Maggie said. Emma laughed. Already planning to. I want to help people like you, like Ruth, like Dorothy. Ruth would have liked you. I wish I could have met her. She was fierce, stubborn, funny in the driest way possible. She taught me that giving up wasn't an option. You taught yourself that. Maybe. But she reminded me. Sometimes that's what we need. Someone to remind us who we are. After dinner, Emma asked the question Maggie had been expecting. Have you talked to Dad a few times? He calls every month. We talk for 10 minutes, sometimes 15. How is he different? Quieter. I think losing Karen broke something in him. Or maybe it fixed something, hard to tell. Do you think you'll ever forgive him? Maggie considered the question, the same question she'd been asking herself for months. I don't know if forgiveness is the right word. What he did hurt me deeply, changed me. But I don't hate him anymore. I understand him, and maybe that's close enough. He misses you. I know. He told me he's been going to therapy, trying to understand why he did what he did. That's good. That's progress. Emma reached across the table and took her grandmother's hand. Maybe someday you two could try again. Not forget what happened. Just move forward. Maybe. Maggie squeezed her hand. But for now, this is enough. You. The foundation. The cottage. My tea in the morning. The birds outside my window. I don't need anything else. You deserve to be happy, Grandma. I am happy. For the first time in a long time, I actually am. The summer brought more changes. The foundation opened a new headquarters in Boston, hired a full-time staff of 12, launched a national awareness campaign about elder financial abuse. Maggie's face appeared on billboards. Her story was featured in magazines. She did interviews on television, spoke at conferences, became against all expectations, a symbol of something larger than herself. She didn't like the attention, didn't want to be famous, but she understood its power. Every time someone saw her face and said, that could be my mother, that could be me, another person became aware. Another family started asking questions. Another senior got the help they needed. In August, Michael called. Mom, I need to see you. In person. Maggie hesitated. Their phone calls had been brief. Careful. Neither of them pushed too hard. Why? Because there are things I need to say. Things that shouldn't be said over the phone. She thought about it. The risk, the pain, the possibility that it would only make things worse. But she also thought about Ruth, about what she would say. Don't let fear make your choices. Let hope make them instead. Come to the cottage, she said, next weekend. He arrived on Saturday morning, drove up in a modest sedan, nothing fancy, nothing like the car he used to have. Maggie met him at the door. He looked older, thinner, the lines on his face deeper than she remembered. Hi, Mom. Hi, Michael. They sat on the porch. The ocean stretched out before them. Gulls circled overhead. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Then Michael said, I've been thinking about Dad. So have I. He would have been ashamed of me. What I did. Probably. Michael flinched at her honesty, but she was done protecting him from the truth. I keep asking myself when I became this person, he said. When I started seeing you as a problem instead of my mother. I don't have an answer. Does it matter? It matters to me. I want to understand so I don't do it again. Do what again? Hurt the people I love because I'm scared. Maggie looked at her son, really looked at him. The boy who used to climb into her lap during thunderstorms. The teenager who broke his arm falling off a bicycle and didn't cry once. The man who had somehow lost his way. Fear is powerful, she said. It makes us do terrible things, justify terrible choices. I know, but fear isn't an excuse, it's an explanation. You still have to live with what you did. He nodded. Tears were rolling down his face. I sold your furniture. Things you and Dad picked out together. Things that mattered. I told myself it was necessary, that the money would help you somehow. But really, I just wanted it gone. Because every time I looked at it, I remembered how much you loved him, and how much he loved you, and how I never seemed to measure up. Maggie felt something shift inside her, something old and heavy. You always measured up, Michael. You just never believed it. Dad was perfect. The perfect husband, the perfect father. He never raised his voice, never lost his temper, always knew the right thing to say. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. We both did. Name one. He worked too much, missed your soccer games, forgot your birthday twice. We fought about money constantly the first 10 years of our marriage. Michael looked surprised. I didn't know that, because we didn't tell you. Parents protect their children from things, sometimes too much. He wiped his eyes. I wanted to be like him, and every time I failed, I hated myself a little more. So you punished me for it. I didn't think of it that way. I thought I was helping, taking control so things wouldn't fall apart. Things fell apart anyway. Yeah, they did. They sat in silence. The waves crashed against the rocks below. I'm sorry, Michael said finally. Not because I think it will fix anything. Not because I expect you to forgive me. Just because it's true. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for who I became. I'm sorry I didn't see you as a person. Maggie looked at him. Her son. Her broken, complicated, flawed son. Thank you, she said. That's it. What else do you want me to say? I don't know. That you forgive me. That we can start over. That everything's okay. Everything's not okay. Maybe it never will be. But thank you for coming. Thank you for saying the words. That matters. He stood up, walked to the edge of the porch. Can I come back? Visit again sometime? Maybe. Let's see how this goes first. He nodded. Didn't push, didn't argue. That was progress. Before he left, he turned back. The foundation. What you're doing. It's amazing, Mom. Helping all those people. Making sure what happened to you doesn't happen to them. That's the goal. I want to help, however I can. Maggie studied him, looking for the manipulation, the angle, the hidden agenda. She didn't find any. Talk to David. Tell him I sent you. If you're serious about wanting to help, he'll find something. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Prove it first. He nodded, got in his car, drove away. Maggie watched until he disappeared over the hill. Then she went inside and made herself tea. The autumn came gently. Leaves changed color. The air grew crisp. Maggie added a second bird feeder to her yard, filled it with the expensive seed that attracted cardinals, Patrick's favorites. Dorothy called every Sunday. They talked about the foundation, about the cases they were working, about the lives they were changing. But mostly, they talked about the small things, tea preferences, gardening tips, the shows they were watching, the books they were reading. Ordinary things, beautiful things. In October, Maggie got a package in the mail. No return address, just her name written in careful handwriting. Inside was a box of tea, English breakfast, the expensive kind, and a note. Mom, I remembered you mentioned your favorite brand during our last visit. I know tea can't make up for anything, but I wanted you to have something from me that wasn't complicated. Just tea, just a son thinking about his mother. Love, Michael. Maggie held the box for a long time. Then she put it in the cabinet with the others. Healing wasn't a single moment. It was 1,000 small choices, 1,000 tiny steps forward. This was one of them. On Thanksgiving, Emma came to visit. They cooked dinner together, turkey stuffing all the traditional things. They set the table for two but placed a third setting anyway. For Grandpa, Emma said. For Grandpa. They ate, talked, laughed, cried a little when they told stories about Patrick, about the way he used to burn the rolls every year because he forgot to set the timer, about the songs he sang while carving the turkey, about how he always said grace twice because he forgot what he'd said the first time. He was something special, Emma said. He really was. Do you think he knows about the ticket? About everything that happened? Maggie thought about it. Thought about the odds of finding that ticket in her pocket. The impossible luck of the numbers matching. The way everything had fallen into place. I think he knows, she said. I think maybe he planned it." Emma smiled. "That sounds like him, always looking out for you. Always." After dinner, they walked on the beach. The cold wind bit at their faces. The waves roared in the darkness. Grandma Emma said, "I have something to tell you. I met someone at the hospital. Another resident. Her name is Sophia." Maggie stopped walking, looked at her granddaughter. And I think I love her." Emma's face was nervous, uncertain, waiting for judgment. Maggie took her hand. "Then I can't wait to meet her." Emma's face broke into a smile. "Really? Really? Love is love, sweetheart. Your grandfather taught me that. All that matters is that someone makes you happy. She makes me so happy, Grandma. So incredibly happy. Then that's all I need to know." They hugged on the beach while the waves crashed around them. Two women, two generations, connected by blood and love and hope. That night after Emma went to bed, Maggie sat on the porch wrapped in blankets. The stars were bright, the moon was full, the ocean whispered secrets she couldn't quite hear. She thought about the year behind her, the nursing home, the betrayal, the ticket that changed everything, the fight, the freedom, the foundation, the healing. She thought about Ruth gone now, but never forgotten. About Dorothy still fighting, still winning. About the hundreds of people the foundation had helped. About the thousands more they would help in the years to come. She thought about Patrick. About the love they shared for 47 years. About the way he laughed, the way he held her, the way he always believed she was stronger than she knew. She thought about Michael, the son who hurt her, the son who was trying to change, the son who might never fully earn her forgiveness, but deserved the chance to try. She thought about Emma, the light of her life, the doctor who would help so many people, the granddaughter who had given her hope when she had none. And she thought about herself, Margaret Sullivan, 77 years old now, survivor, fighter, founder of a foundation that bore another name but carried her spirit. A woman who had been locked away and told she was nothing. A woman who refused to believe it. She pulled Patrick's coat tighter around her shoulders. The same coat, the same pocket, the one that had held the ticket that changed everything. "Thank you," she whispered into the wind. "Thank you for believing in me." The wind didn't answer, but somewhere in its sound she heard something that might have been his voice. "I always did." She smiled, closed her eyes, let the peace wash over her. Tomorrow there would be more work, more cases, more people to help, more healing to do. But tonight, she was just Maggie, a woman on a porch, watching the stars, drinking tea, free. If you're listening to this story and you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever been locked away or thrown aside or told you didn't matter, I want you to hear me. You matter. Your voice matters. Your fight matters. They can take your keys, they can take your phone, they can take your house and your furniture and everything you've built, but they cannot take who you are. They cannot take your strength. They cannot take your hope. So hold on. Fight back. Find your ticket, whatever that means for you. And never ever let anyone tell you that you are finished. Because you are not a burden. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not a name on a door that no one will remember. You are alive. You are powerful. You are free. And no one gets to lock you away and call it love.